What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you stopping by for the first time, if you see something that you like here today, please don't forget to subscribe at some point. Those of you stopping by that have been here before, welcome back to TLTG Reviews, my friends. Glad you came see me. So this is one I've been meaning to review for quite a while now. It actually took me a little while to warm up to it. At first, I wasn't a giant fan of it, and it grew on me and grew on me. So what are we talking about today? From Versace, the infamous Dylan Blue. Stay tuned. Versace Dylan Blue. So, known as a compliment magnet, compliment king type of fragrance. A lot of fragrances base their DNAs, the blue genre, off of this fragrance. We're going to find out here today, in my opinion, do I feel like it's still touted as the best blue fragrance available. So first, starting off with this presentation, it's a basic, cheap little box, you know, very thin. This gold print, Versace Pour Homme Dylan Blue, has that Versace pattern. Information about the fragrance on the back, more of that pattern, Versace on top. And then batch code information, UPC on the bottom. Nothing real special about the box. Jumping off into that presentation, the usual Versace Pour Homme bottle that's also used by Versace Oud Noir. Batch code information on the bottom. It does have that Versace print on the top of the cap, Versace around the collar. Does click into place, holds pretty well. Versace logo, the Medusa head on top, the atomizer. Does spray pretty well, pretty good atomizer. Oh man. Yeah, it's gotten better and better. I've learned to really enjoy this one. So, release year on this one was 2016. Not real new, not real old. It's classified as an aromatic fougere. I'll put the notes right here if you want to check that out. So, this one, in the opening, it's going to hit you with pretty much everything. It's going to be a jumble of hard to pick out notes. It's kind of a very strong opening. It's really hard to distinguish anything. It can be an overpowering, kind of too much opening. If you give it just a few minutes, it'll really settle down and really start to let you smell a few different things. Because in the opening, you're going to get a giant blast of the citruses that are available, the smoky incense, you're going to get the ambroxan, you're going to get some of the spices, you're going to get some of the watery notes, you're going to get a little bit of everything. It's hard to really detect what's what because it's just a blast of everything hitting you at once. So it can be off-putting for some, at least on skin, with that initial spray. And then after a few minutes, once you start getting into the transition, the smokiness of that incense really comes out and comes to the forefront a whole lot more. It gets much more aquatic. The water notes really start to shine at this point after about 2 or 3 minutes in. And then once you really get into about 10 minutes down, I find they really come out there a lot more pronounced considering they were in the top notes. I get a lot of the violet leaf. It doesn't really get powdery as much as it has the sharpness that violet leaf is known for, kind of giving off a little bit of a metallic quality. Not much. It's faint, but I find it to be there. And then you're starting to get a little bit of the tonka bean, which adds to that slight little tiny bit of powder if you really look for it later on. But once the sweetness from the tonka bean comes in, that's pretty much just what you're getting. You're getting some of that tonka bean sweetness. The powder doesn't really come until the deep dry down, I find. And speaking of that dry down, once you get in there, it's still plenty of ambroxan. I still get the smokiness from the incense, and the musk really becomes a lot more present. This one does change, just not a whole lot. You pretty much get all of the notes at the top, and then some start to slowly fade off, citruses, grapefruit, stuff like that. And then more and more notes just tend to burn off until you're just left with the musk, the ambroxan, and the incense. To my nose, off of my skin, that's pretty much what you're left with. It's a great smell. It really is. Like I said, initially, because of that opening, I was kind of off-put by it. But as time progressed, I've really learned to appreciate this thing. I think it's a great scent. I think it's an 8 out of 10 scent. It's very versatile. You can wear this year round. This is a signature scent type of fragrance, as most blue fragrances are. You can get this one in the 40s with the discount code from FragranceNet. I'll link FragranceNet down below with the coupon code if you want to check it out. That's where I bought my bottle. I think it was like 47 I paid for it, if I remember correctly. Not terrible, you know, much better than retail. It's not a super cheapy by any means, but it's very affordable. Now, as far as if you didn't want to spend 47, I've talked about this one a lot on the channel. They're not identical. This is Salvatore Ferragamo Acqua Essenziale Blue. They're not the same fragrance. This has the Dylan Blue DNA, the basis for it, with a little touch of the Bleu de Chanel citrus in it, and it kind of changes it a little bit. It's not the same, but they're very, very similar. This is arguably my favorite blue fragrance. $20 or less for 100 ml or 50 ml, you know, sub $20, $15 range for 50 ml like this. This may be the better option. They perform about the same. If you want something a bit more aquatic, more marine, Bulgari Aqua Atlantique. This is the more summer heavy marine version of this, because you smell Dylan Blue in this. It's just got the Bulgari Aqua DNA to give it that marine aquatic twist. Still has similar performance, you know, long lasting. This one actually projects a little bit more than this one does, but both great in performance. So there's just so many takes on this. That's why it's, is it the king of it? Is it the best blue? Because most blue fragrances are modeled after this blue fragrance. So in a sense, it still stands on its own because it has its own unique smell. And when I say unique, hear me out, because only Dylan Blue smells exactly like Dylan Blue. The others just smell like Dylan Blue. And then in the performance category, I do get every bit of 8 hours to 9 hours every time I wear it. The last 2 times was 8 hours. So for that, I give it an 8 out of 10. And then projections, nothing mega heavy. You're not filling a room, but you do have a pretty good scent bubble following you arm's length for about the first 2 hours. And then it starts to sit a little bit closer to the skin, leaving a mild scent trail the rest of the way through. So I give it a 7.5 out of 10 in projection. So like I said, not stellar performance, but definitely above average performance. Overall, Versace Dylan Blue is absolutely an 8 out of 10 fragrance in my opinion. You can't deny the compliment factor on this one. People love the way this one smells out in the air. Women love the way this one smells out in the air. My wife enjoys how this one smells. It's versatile. It'll pull you some compliments. It's nothing new. It's heavily replicated at this point. A lot of fragrances make their own Versace Dylan Blue because, like I said, they're not exactly Versace Dylan Blue, but they smell kind of like Dylan Blue, or they smell a lot like Dylan Blue, or that's kind of their blue fragrance. That's a lot of the things that you'll hear when it comes to these blue fragrances. But this is one of, if not the original, where that stuff all started, because this had a lot of success. Other brands followed suit. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have Versace Dylan Blue? Like I said, it's not anything new. A lot of people have tried it. A lot of people had it. I had one of those little mini dabber, little small ones. It looks just like the bottle, just a little bitty. It took me a little while to go through that. I had put it in a little sample atomizer, and I wasn't a huge fan. It took time. You know, after that first time, it put me off. I didn't go back to it for a while. And then I went back and gave it a chance with 2 more wearings and ended up falling for it and had to get a full bottle. And until next time, I will say, get your hands on Dylan Blue and you give it a spray now. Who knows, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.